Hey there, so in this video I will be showing you how to automatically add new contacts as attendees to a Google Calendar event. So the beauty of this automation is that if you have a webinar, a workshop, a live event that is happening on a fixed date and time, if you have a live event, then this will help improve attendance rates because you have an additional touch point with your attendees or registrants. So one of the biggest challenges that we're seeing with webinar funnels or workshop funnels is that people love to sign up for free things, but life gets in the way and they don't show up for whatever they signed up for. And because of that, they don't see the offer. So if they don't see the offer, then they don't have any chance of converting or purchasing whatever you're selling. So what we really want to do is just add an extra touch point where we can get in touch with them and say, hey, the event is happening in a few hours, or the event is now happening. Jump on and don't miss it. So this is really good, especially since some people or some businesses are struggling with email deliverability, but Google doesn't have that problem. So it will send email notifications when the event is approaching, like if it's happening in an hour or if it's happening in 5 minutes. So that just really helps improve attendance rates, right? We want to give our funnel a fighting chance, make sure that we have optimized it and done our best to get the leads that we got into the funnel to convert to attend our webinar. So let's start. Zapier account. If you have your Zapier account, click create Zap. Okay, so trigger. Usually the trigger that you set is a form submission or a contact getting tagged a certain tag that identifies them as someone who signed up for the workshop or for the event. In my case, I will be using this as my trigger. So this is a Google spreadsheet, and I have another automation that when someone signs up for the workshop, their name and email address gets added here. So let's just add our name to test our automation, the automation that we're setting up. Okay. And then let's go back to our Zap. So here, trigger, Google Drive, or rather Google Sheets. Choose an event. I will choose new or updated spreadsheet row, or rather new spreadsheet row. And then for the account, let's select our account here. Click continue. Spreadsheet. This is our spreadsheet here. And for the worksheet, we only have one sheet. But if you have multiple tabs or worksheets in that spreadsheet, then choose the right one where you have your contact's email address. So basically for the trigger, it just needs to be connected to the contact's email address because we need an email address to add to the Google Calendar event. Without an email address, this won't work, right? So let's test our trigger. Okay, you can see the test contact or test entry that we added. And then for the action that we want this Zap to take, we will choose Google Calendar. Under event, we want to choose Add Attendee or Attendees to event. And then for the account, make sure to choose the correct calendar account where you have your event. So just to show you, this is my event that I set up. And one thing that you need to check is that under guest permissions, everything should be unchecked, because when you add someone to this event, and normally these two are checked. By default, these two options are checked. So that gives your attendees or the people you're adding to this event as guests to invite other people and see the guest list. And that's really bad for privacy, because they will be able to see the email addresses of everyone you add into the calendar event. And we don't want that. Other than that, it would be good to add some description to the event by maybe you have a Zoom link where the webinar or workshop is happening, because at least when the event starts, it would be easy for them to just click on the link from the email notifications that they get from Google Calendar. So if we make it easy for our registrants to attend, then we reduce the friction and we have a higher chance of improving our attendance rates. Okay, so let's go back to our Zap. Here, click Continue, choose your calendar, event, choose your event. If it's not showing up, click Load More, click Refresh Results until you find your event. And then click Test Event. And then for Attendee, here is where we select the field or the source of the email address to be added to the calendar event. So we're selecting this and then click Continue. And then we want to test our Zap just to make sure that it's working. So click Test Step. Let's go and check if we got added, although okay, so one guest awaiting, that's us. So it looks like we got successfully added to our calendar event, which is good. Now, I'm going to show you how to look for an event when you can't find it. So normally it should show you the events on your calendar, but sometimes it doesn't, because maybe you have a lot of events on your calendar and it's showing you all of the events, but you're not finding the right one. So I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so we are back on Google Calendar, and what we want to do is edit the event. And here in the URL of the event, you can see that there's this value here after event edit / and before the question mark. We want to copy that and then go to this website called Base64 Decode. So just search for Base64 Decode on Google and you should be able to find this website. And you want to paste that value that we copied from the URL and then click the code. And then you want to copy this value here. Let me just pause this and I'll jump over back to our Zap. Okay, so as you can see, the value that we copied from Base64 Decode is the same as the event ID. Normally, you won't be able to get this event ID from Google Calendar, and you have to do what I did with Base64 Decode to get the event ID. So let's clear this, and then let's just for example, say that we can't find our event, it's not showing up here, then click this 3 dots icon here, click custom, and paste the value that we copied from base64 code and click use, and then this option right here, and then click continue. So just to test that we have the correct calendar event ID, we're gonna add another test email address here. And to test, what you can do is you can add a plus sign between the values before your, well, in your email address, you have two parts, right? So one is the domain, and that comes after the @ sign, and your ID, which comes before the @ sign. And what you want to do is to add a plus sign between the ID and the @ sign and add any value, right? So for example, test 10:30, because it's October 30 today, you can do test 1. So you know that this is your first test contact, and it will work the same way as this email address. So any value here, it doesn't really matter. It just identifies the email address as the first test of many, or the test that you did on a certain date. So you don't have to keep using different email addresses. You can just keep doing this. Okay, let's go back to our Zap. We're gonna click on our trigger here and then go to the test tab, click test trigger, and look for our new test contact. Let's see here. This is our new test contact. Choose that. Click continue with selected record, and then let's jump to the test tab here. Okay, let's just double check. Okay, so let's just click refresh here. Let's double check that we selected. Okay, didn't look like we selected the correct row that we want to use for our test. So check that and then continue with selected record. From here, just click continue. Okay, it's now pulling the correct test contact. Click continue and click retest step. If our event ID that we pulled using base64 is correct, if we go back to our event on Google Calendar, we should see our email address. So here we go. All right, so that concludes our video on how to do this. It goes without saying that when you're done with this, hit publish, give your Zap a descriptive name so that you know what it does and what triggers it, and that's it. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!